Last time I was talking about social media and well-being. Can some can social media be correlated with well-being? Can we actually go ahead and have a balanced social, corporative, family, internal lifestyle as long as we have social media in our lives? This question came to me when I was looking into the previous topics we were talking about social media self efficacy, social media fatigue, and others. And we just encountered that yes, social media can be overwhelmed, social media can leave us exhausted, but also social media can interfere in our own efficacy and productivity. And every time now that I recall social media well-being, that is something documented and research. It's just that yes, they've been looking forward to portray how a good lifestyle would be. Now we have like more resources that we are going to be reading and requiring in our entire lives over and over again for 100 years. But nowadays, it's just that what is well-being? What is well-being in social media? People might tell you like well-being, it actually depends on the person. And that's totally all right. That's totally valid. But I also have found like some type of pattern that have been like established with nowadays mindfulness and courses about how to reach out your inner being and how to develop it to the fullest. We are putting out the concept of being your best version. And how do you achieve the best version of yourself? With well-being habits. Well-being habits that people have been telling us to go and exercise, to go and do yoga, to go and balance our chakras, to go and going to therapy. So things that have been going on in the past nowadays are becoming like more popular. So social media well-being can also be determined depending on the type of people you are consuming their content. It could be the girl who is like into fitness, going to the gym every day, or it could be the guy who is telling you about this course that he's selling on how to be a better man. Or it could be this another person that is telling you how to combine the colors of your outfit, and that is going to influence on your humor and in your mood on the daily basis. And I could go on. People telling you to go into a class of yoga from the person that have been into Thailand and Vietnam for around 10 years and just arrive to the city and you go. But also they're telling you to go and watch their videos and to please subscribe to their coach online and for you to receive their classes. Or you can also be hearing out about this academy, online academy. Just code, learn how to code. It will increase your not only your free time because you don't have to be attached to a 9 to 5 job, but also because you will be hands free in other opportunities in terms of work. So you can be in a line of work that give you some time to develop hobbies and that can increase your well-being, isn't it? And every time I ask that, it's just like, yeah, those could be well-being courses or paths for you to develop who you are. But social media well being isn't supposed to be a macro scenario or a macro base for other people to replicate. It's, for example, we have the nutritional chart, the famous pyramid we were taught in school, how things are actually stable and stipulated by the institutions, many institutions that are have the responsibility to also think about our well-being in different areas and aspects. And I want to ask you that. Isn't that something that should be also ongoing in social media? Someone or some group of people to take a lead and say like, hey, this is already like massive. You have millions and millions of people connected online. Isn't it better to just go ahead and stipulate something or some kind of basis of what should be education, what should be well-being, what should be also working areas, social areas? When something becomes so massive, that is when people start to regulate stuff. And regulation isn't bad if it is done properly. So I think we have this open window that is massive, and everything comes in and goes out every time. And nobody has been there, hasn't been like standing out there right next to the door and say like, hey, you can come and pass. Or if you're going to go in, remember, this is what it has to be going on, or this is what you are going to find. So it's like just an open window. Post whenever you want, consume whatever you want, and just deal with it. Deal with it. No matter how many content I'm going to show you, no matter how much content you're going to show me, just go ahead. It's free. When something is free, aren't we the consumers? When something is free, aren't we the product? When something is free, is it actually free? But then we have free will and the power of will. So I tend to keep like certain basis of how do we need to consume, what do we need to consume, and when, which are important. But at the same time, it's just like, yes, we as consumers, we have a lot of responsibility, but also the people who are given the media, the platforms, also have responsibility. When something becomes massive, some actions need to be taken out. And as you guys remember when Facebook was launched, and then we had like these TV channels as catfish, stuff like that. Before internet, there were like regulations, state regulations about crimes committed online. But of course, when something came ahead, just as the internet, people started interacting with each other. You can contact anybody around the globe. Now the states, each one independently, had to take action. It had to regulate some stuff like, hey, you can do this online or you cannot do this online. Now the other hand, these social media platforms, they haven't done that entirely. They can give you their guidelines, but as long as you don't surpass the limits of their guidelines, it's all right. And those guidance, we are we know that those aren't straight in us. So we're also dealing with platforms that they just do what it needs to be done in order to be active and on air, online. And that's a bit concerning because if other institutions have to take actions about it, it's because something needs to be done. Something needs to be regulated. And every time I think about that, I can remember like kids going into Facebook, having their accounts signed up by their parents or by themselves, pretending to be another age, pretending to be cooler than they am, and having like this social pressure to communicate perhaps stuff they didn't want, or talk with people that were strangers because they felt lonely. And it's just like, come on, Facebook, you can do better about time, right? And now we have Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. We have like a bunch of stuff, a Snapchat as well. And I could go on. But it's just like, I know they can do more. Of course, we as the consumers, we can do lots of the stuff. We can do it. But they can do it as well. What do you think about that? Have you ever thought about social media needs to be like, they need to regulate themselves, and at the end they will be regulating us, regulating our content, and how we consume their content at the end? Or do you think that is totally fine right now, that is giving us what we need, that yes, we have like this entire picture of well-being, but it's really up to us what's going in and out? Like, it doesn't matter, like it is just fine. Also, what been seeing about Instagram for teenagers, give like more control to the parents, and it's just like great. But for me, when we're talking about living in like a capitalistic world, it's just like they just want more people to lie. They just want more people to open their accounts, to be scrolling and to be consuming what other people have to offer. And that will means more people to watch ads, because remember, I don't know if you have seen it, and it's something I wanted to talk about, that now we are scrolling, and then it's going to tell you like an ad is coming, and it's going to give you the time, the countdown. Then the ad comes by. The creator isn't receiving money from that, and they're just putting out ads like that, and they're just taking all the money. Different from YouTube, that yes, the incentive for creative have been lowered down throughout the years, but if you consume an ad, of course the creator is getting something. In Instagram, they didn't even they don't care. I mean, they're also giving you the countdown that ad is coming, but they're just getting most of the profit. They're not giving anything. They have like a partnership program, anything. A creative program, no, like they're getting the money. And for me, is that they were realizing what happened with Facebook like years ago, that they just found out like a lot of teenagers that were like growing up earlier. Instagram now is their Facebook. And that means that a lot of teenagers are becoming more into social media, and now that they are just creating their accounts, perhaps also pretending to have more age, but now their parents are also creating their accounts for them to be like introducing this new area, as for us was like something in the past as well, was something new about technology just came out. Our parents wanted to be on the loop, or they wanted to teach us something if they were like agree with it, of course. Now Instagram is the new Facebook. Now the teenagers want to be in, want to know what's going on, and the parents, of course, they need to be on the loop at some point. But now we have the ads. Before Facebook didn't have the ads. So they know that even if it is a teenager, they're going to get a profit for every ad that they will be launching by around the person or company out there. So they're winning. Everything's like win-win from their side as long as I'm seeing it. And I think they were forced to have like more guidelines and more options for parents and for teenager accounts because they were seeing like this increasingly a massive accounts connection. And it's just like, yeah, we need to regulate this, but because people are wanting to regulate this. How much time passed until Facebook used to suddenly put more guidelines into into their site? It passed like a lot of time. And now that everything is integrated into Meta, it just became worse to be honest. But yes, a smiley is like, yeah, let me show you your ads. Now I don't care if I'm not paying the creator, I'm going to show you the ads. And then I don't care if you were like a teenager, I'm going to show you the same thing. Like I just care about the algorithm. I don't care about the content that much. If it is like a 18 plus content or a bit more explicit, like we don't care. We're just going to show you because according to the algorithm, you like this stuff. And I'm just like, is social media really affecting our well-being or not? Because at the end, we are part of the product. We are potential leads. Those are the two words. You are potential leads walking by, living by, consuming by every day. We are potential leads. We are walking leads. And now the leads are not only on the streets. Before it was really hard to get new leads because of that. Now the leads are connected online. So what about if we just not bombard people outside the streets with signs, with TV announcements, with of course the big signs about the company's name, paid advertisement, etc. Why if we also bombard people inside, on their houses, on their phones, on their tablets? CB isn't enough anymore. Radio isn't enough for sports at this point. We need these people, even on their favorite podcast, to put an ad in there because we're going to pay these people. We want these people to be our leads. We are potential walking leads. And as long as I don't like that, who likes that? Who likes to be a walking lead? Nobody wants that. But that is how it is right now. That even on Instagram, you scroll down and you have like the countdown for the ad, and it's just crazy how deliberate, how we cannot just go out, and if we want to go out, we need to pay more. So we then are going to be converted as, yeah, we're going to pass to be converted leads, and that's nuts. So yeah, this is great. But if you like it a lot and you don't want to be bothered by the same ads that we put you mandatorily, you have to be a converted lead. What do you think about that? And in order for me to access and to have an increase or a chance to have a better well-being in my own life, first I need to filter a bunch of the stuff because as we mentioned before in another video, it's like in an hour you can have like 10 to 15 different topics at the same time. And then you need to filter what is going to be positive for you and what is not going to be positive, and just staying with the positive. And that is going to affect your well-being, right? And now that you have that for your well-being, now that you can say like, okay, I have this content that I like. Now you need to pass to another 15 ads in order for you to consume them constantly. If you don't want to have a bunch of ads, a bunch of visual contamination, then you need to be paying us more. You need to be a camera late. So how much is my well-being costing nowadays? How much does it cost for me to have a balance, ongoing, not only productive, but well-established life? And that is the question that I'm going to give to you. How much does your well-being cost nowadays online? social media path? How much is it costing today? Let me know. And thank you so much for being here. Remember to leave like any comment if you want. And do you want to keep hearing about this topic or not? Let me know. Bye bye.